Testing. Hello, everybody. Hello. How is everybody doing today? Everybody doing good? Everybody doing okay? Hi, Otan, Keyframe, and not me six, not me. Zeus. I'm great. How are you? Sarkos is not here actually. He's in the living room today. Um, we had creative disagreements. Just kidding. He's okay. I'll bring him here for the next stream, like in 2 hours. Hi Bruno, tudo bem? Hey Naked Buffalo. Sparkles is doing just fine. We're all doing just fine. Hey, I'm Silver Portuguese and I love your art. Hi. So, this is what we're working on today. So this is my model from the Stylist League. I've been streaming with the boys on Stylist League every Friday for the month of April, but we actually took 2 weeks off, so we're making up for it here in May. So they're all working on their stuff outside of the live streams, and I haven't had the time, so I figured I would work on this today outside of the live stream, but inside of a different live stream. So for those of you who don't know, Stylist League is a YouTube sculpting channel by Mike Thompson and Bradley Color. Go follow it if you can. I do not have the link handy. But I'm going to go ahead and just keep working on it. So for those of you who are also Brazilian like me, you might... Okay, you're not going to recognize this because I'm really not staying true to the concept at all. Caipora is the entity I'm creating. She or he, so backstory. This is a very ancient kind of mythology from ancient tribes in Brazil and generally like South America, where it's so ancient that there's no real clear origin, there's no real clear backstory to the character. So every different tribe and then eventually every different village has their own mythology for this character. Okay, so her name is Caipora. She can be a man, she can be a woman. I went obviously in the latter route. She is a protector of the forest. She will basically hunt hunters and things like that. Anybody who mistreats basically the safety of animals and forest. I'm also right now extremely addicted to a game called, well, not, I wouldn't say extremely addicted. I'd say like I play it at least once a week, which is like for me it's extremely addicted. To a game called Dead by Daylight. Has anybody here ever seen that? Well, I recommend it. It's fun. It's like playing a hide and seek and like tag with adults in a game form, but it's scary. And all of their monsters are really cool and like creepy and stuff. So she's gonna be a little bit like Spectral and Monster E, but not over the top either. So like I still want her to be really cool. I'm going to make a spear for her. I'm going to put her in a slightly like crouched position. Caipora, not Curupira. And we're gonna go from there. So I did a little bit of work on the hair. So you can see the black part is actually the part that I sculpted off as like the concept, so to speak. The white part is kind of me trying to fill it out with something that's more hair-like. I'm not sure I love it. But the thing about the hair is that I accidentally made part of it white and part of it black, and I freaking love it. I don't know why I like it, but I like it, so I'm thinking I'm going to go off concept and make it black and white. If I hide kind of like the base mesh for the hair, it looks kind of more like this. For now, yeah, there's missing some parts, you know, it's a work in progress for sure. This whole side here is going to come off. I think the long areas are going to get redone. I like the twists, but it's too much. Like, basically, it's just a work in progress as far as the hair is concerned. I know of that game. You guys like the game. Hi, Fucky. You're from Bahia. Nice. Um, so I'm still working on her. So as you can tell, I've kind of like had a really good time. You can tell I've had a good time. You can tell I've had a pretty good time as far as like creating like beads, feathers, the grass skirt. I'm not sure if it's reading as grass. I think the long parts are, maybe not the short parts. Got some feathers, like simple feathers on there on the arm. Some just beads, like simple, really simple beads here. Um, Kind of like different shapes, more feathers. This is just for the streaming purposes. She's gonna be like totally bare chested for the final. Um, Her face needs to be reworked. Her body needs to be detailed because right now it looks pretty flat. Which is I think what I'm going to do today. Is we're going to rework the body. If you look down at the feet, you'll see that they're backwards, and that's because of the separate mythology that can get confused, called Curupira. So I went with the backwards feet. I think I'm going to push it back and make it forwards feet again. Yeah, exactly. I confused her as well. So I'm going to move the feet back, but I think I'm not going to actually merge the feet. I think I'm just going to hide the connection points with like some sort of accessories. um, and that is basically the idea for this character. As you can see, I've kind of already plotted out some painting ideas for her body. I want her to have like war paint on. The only thing I'm gonna keep is the neck being dark, the eyes being dark, and then some sort of pattern on her stomach. I've done a lot of research on these markings. However, I think I'm going to freestyle them as to not kind of like infringe on like some sacred meaning from actual tribes. So I'll just make my own. And just in general, I'm kind of like taking some creative approaches on general ideas because not to mention like she's a like eternal being that lives in the Amazon and also just forests in general. And I like to imagine that she would have come into contact with a lot of different people, and taken some ideas of, or clothes and things like that from each type of person that she meets, I guess. Um, is the hair fiber mesh or sculpted out from geometry? They are sculpted out from geometry. Like this. I didn't want to do fiber mesh. I don't really like fiber mesh to start with, like, but also I wanted to turn this originally into a 3D print, and I still could, but I've done so many little things that at this point I feel like I've locked myself into a corner, and it would take quite a bit of reworking to get it 3D printable. But it's still possible, and I'm not gonna be too scared of it. However, I was thinking about how I'm going to present this at the end, and I'm thinking that maybe a just some clay renders would be pretty good. Thank you. I'm glad you liked the flow of the hair. I did this yesterday, last night, so far. I was watching Selling Sunset. And now, you guys do this, right? Like, you watch or listen to audiobooks or listen to music or something when you're working, and then when you see the work again, you get a flashback to the thing that you're listening to. Is that ever the case with you guys? Like, you kind of create like a mental connection between the two things? So one time I was at work and I was working on this lobby. Like it was like a lobby environment, okay? When I was doing some environment art. Whenever I see the lobby, to this day, I remember exactly what part of the book I was listening to. And I was listening to a book by George R. R. Martin. Like what was it? The prequel to Game of Thrones. It was like Prince and the Egg or something like that. The night. Game of Thrones prequel. Let's see what it could be. This is not a good Google search. Like egg. Dunk and Egg was what I was listening to. And like when I look at different parts of the lobby, I remember different parts of the book. Things that I probably wouldn't remember just standalone. Like if you asked me like what happens during that part of the book, I'd be like, oh shit, I don't remember. But if I wasn't looking at the lobby, I would tell you exactly what the book said. Exactly. Hi, Tatoon. Yeah, Godzilla, I'm glad you had the flashbacks too. I'm glad I'm not the only one. So this project's moving a little slow, probably because of how ridiculous I pushed everything. You know, like this skirt, like it's not made for efficiency. Let's just put it that way. Like, look at that. I mean, I should like decimate it or something later. I was just trying to get like this like grass wheat situation going on. So I just kind of stretched out some polygons. Like it's a real mess. FYI, like the brush Groom Turbulence really came in and did a lot for the skirt. But it's a little high, so I think we're just gonna like hide it while I work on the rest of the body anyway. So might as well. Let's open up that skirt. I also made this brush right here that I think I like a little bit. It kind of looks like almonds a little, but I could always just rework it to like look like braided stuff right there. It was so easy to make, guys. Like, I think if I had spent like 5 more minutes refining the actual IMM part of it, it would be perfect. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's fine for now. Okay, so let's go ahead and hide that skirt. Oh, look, there's some stuff outside of the skirt. Folder, great. My folder organization, not the best today. I blame the ladies on selling sunset sets for this one. I think this should be in the skirt folder. Done. I like this kind of music, but not for working. It distracts me. What other colors you're using for the body paint? So once the body paint is a little... What's that feather? Let's get rid of that feather. Let's go ahead and append this here or something so that I don't get the Pixologic channel blocked here. So I think, yeah, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to be kind of refining the body. So like, I kind of feel like I got the body shape I want for her, very neutral. The base mesh was much more curvy. I kind of like toned all of that down, straightened it out. It just felt right in the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and add some muscle definition, some fat. Those of you who like do my workshop know how important that stuff is to me. So we're going to go ahead and do it. And by stuff, I mean like we all study muscles and bones when we're doing anatomy, but I've come to find that it can be very, very common to like completely ignore the existence of fats. And fat is such an important component of making things that actually look real, you know? There's like no gravity, no fat, no skin, like things like that. Can really, I don't know, it just really makes a difference for me anyway. Just puts apart like a good anatomy study from a really great anatomy study. Another thing like that I personally appreciate when it comes to studying anatomy is different body types, right? But let's not get too far into that, I suppose, but these give some tips for making basic female bodies. So since we're doing that today, it's probably going to be what do you call it? It's going to be part of today's stream. So definitely just stay tuned. Ask me any questions if you have them. That's just me double checking to make sure that I don't have like on accidents any they say like I should probably screenshot one sec. Let me just real fast for like the sake of entertainment purposes. I'm going to screenshot the model on the corner here just so people can kind of see what we're working on as they arrive. Shift S. Okay, now let's hide the skirt again, hide the accessories, take out the poly paints, and then we can continue. Alright, Sandro, Cakester, hello. Is the rope on her waist a nano mesh? No, it was an IMM curve brush. Naked Buffalo, it's an inspiring mess. Are you calling my work a mess? Rip to me. I'm gonna make the color not super white because otherwise it can be a little tricky to see. I'm gonna use like a nice thin demi-standard. Learned that from my Geo Nagpil stream. Nice skinny demi-standard goes a long way for defining form. Really long way. He said it was a mess first. It's okay when I say it's a mess. So I'm kind of trying to decide kind of like what kind of body type I'm going to go for, I think. Definitely something that feels natural, not like comic booky, is I think the idea we're going to start using. Make the cube a little lower because it's kind of getting in the way of the abdomen. Do you mean this up here, by the way? Like, let me hide that one too and put it in accessories. I'm confused about... Okay. Yeah, both of them are just... Everything here was insert mesh. Except for like one thing on her arm, which was like really hard to notice anyway. How's Sparkles doing? He's doing good. He's being a little baby as usual. Keeping up with his baby antics. People that know him know. He's been needy and desperate, which means he's doing good. Because that's how he is when he's doing good. Desperate little baby. Gonna turn down my smooth intensity. I'm trying to make rope wrappings like that. Well, if towards the end of the stream, or maybe like on my stream, so later today, once I have some downtime, please ask me to demo that and I'll demo it for you, but not now. Just because I'm trying to get in this flow. I think like one of the things about female anatomy that a lot of people don't necessarily know is that one of the tricks to make it look natural is to just not go overboard. That's it. Just don't go overboard. Easier said than done, right? Like you might feel compelled to keep adding more and more and more like muscle definition, striations, things like that, tenseness. Like you would with like a super built, like muscular character. Just don't push it too far, and you should be okay. Theoretically. Keep it simple. Nice and soft. I'm gonna kind of move brush up the back of this thing here. Perfection. She got a graveyard back there. Okay. Farco's living the good life. Oh, is there something wrong with my stream title? Let's see. Check. Dashboard. Oh god, yeah, this explains so much. Why is everybody here asking about spacecrafts? From two ZBrush experts on top of everything, like, mean sparkles. You're two ZBrush experts today. Let's see if I can find. Okay, I'm gonna change the title real fast. Oh god, I think I just. Okay, my title should be fixed now. Thank you for letting me know. You guys ever notice anything bad about my stream? Like the audio is not looking good, or if the audio doesn't look good, you know, please just tell me and I'll fix it. Okay? I really appreciate it when I'm told. Okay, I'm just adding a little bit of gravity vibes. The vibes of gravity. That's gonna be my second book title, in case you guys were wondering. So I am about to go on summer vacation. Next week class is finished. Then I got a bunch of planning and like post-mortem meetings, graduation events, and then I am free for the summer. Hooray! And on top of all that, I get to focus on writing my book, making my course, and of course, my mini workshops and all of that stuff. I'm so excited. I'm planning a kind of planning a stream marathon for the summer, like for like around the 10th of June to the 10th of July or so. Not a continuous stream, but like kind of like 4 times a week or something like that, 3 to 4 times. Maybe I'll try to make partner during that time as well, because I have the numbers to be partner, but I don't stream enough. Apparently, you need to stream like 12 times a month or something to even qualify, and I only stream once a week, so that's 4 times per month on a good month. So maybe during June I'll try that out. Maybe somebody write it down. Write it down. I'm gonna forget. That's a serious marathon. I used to stream 3 times a week. You guys know that? I did it religiously for years. Fun fact about me. Your mentee will remind you. I'm gonna be like, yo, what's up? I thought you were supposed to stream today. What the heck is going on? Did you get bored of us or something? You talking about why I don't stream as much anymore? It's like a rich person's blender. You can get ZBrush now for like, I think it's like $9.99 a month or something, depending on whether or not you have the right credentials. you have any tips or website recommendations for learning anatomy? I love the book Anatomy for Sculptors. I love the site Anatomy 360. I have a PDF somewhere. You just gotta go find it with all my favorite resources for anatomy. But yeah, I didn't stop streaming because I got bored of you guys. Like, well, I still stream obviously. I didn't slow down my streaming because of that. I slowed down my streaming because I changed priorities. That's it. Like, I just needed to kind of reconsider my weekly schedule, and streaming was no longer something that I had the space for 3 times a week. So I just switched to once a week, and everything was fine after that. For no real I mean, for real reasons, but like partially because whenever I used to stream 3 times a week, I was just working one job. I was still trying to establish myself a lot, like my brand, my network. Now I'm luckily and very gratefully I'm at a position where like everything's mostly established, everything's going okay. I've been making YouTube videos, things like that, like things that I don't do before. So I just basically like changed what I do with that time, but it's still all for you. You know what I mean? So I still do. I'm doing YouTube videos now. I'm writing a book. I'm mentoring. So all that time that I used to stream is still going to good places. But yeah, I'm very excited about the book because, like, during the summers when I'm gonna get to really finish it. I think I can finish first draft now. I think I'm ready. So hooray for that! All of the outline and is already like written out. Two chapters are done. Many other chapters are in progress. It's only 5 chapters total. But it's big ones. I might have to break them down into smaller chapters, I guess. But like that's what I was planning for anyway. And what else? The important part, which is like the information that needs to be written about, is already written. I just need to like word it nicely. You know how that is, like wording things nicely, like actually making it more extensive. I already have my book is already half as long as The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, which is cool. That is one of the most sold books of our generation, so I'm not that off. I only know that because around the time I was working on my book, I was also reading The Alchemist, and it's not a big book. It's like this thin. I've read it twice now, and I was like, I wonder how my book compares to The Alchemist as far as how many words I've written. So I found out how many words my book was, and then I googled how many words The Alchemist was, and then I was like, wow, mine's already half as long, and I only wrote 2 chapters, so it's pretty nice. The Alchemist is a good book, but I didn't get it the first time I read it. It's the first time I read it, I was like, damn, all that hype, so not worth it. And then I was disappointed, right? And then I decided last year, like towards the end of the year, to read it again because like I've changed perspectives, like my mind is more open now. And so I read it, and man, you guys should have seen me. I was like crying my little eyes out for like the whole time. In fact, there's this one part in the book that I used to think was the worst. I was literally like, the first time I read it, I was like, I can't freaking believe that this is like the climax of the book. This is the worst thing I've ever read. And then this time around, I was like just crying my ass out. I called my dad. Like that's how bad it was. I was just like crying during that part that I used to think was the worst of the whole book. And I was like, oh God, I'm crying. It's crazy how like a shift in perspective changes everything, isn't it? It's all that happened was like I just uh, had life experience in 2021 to like finally appreciate the book. But that's the thing, like I don't recommend that book to anyone because they might be where I was when I first read it, you know? You never know. They might hate it. I did. Mohammed, thank you. Somebody asked me, oh God, I missed a lot of questions. Damn. Do you sell assets that you sculpt? Not yet, but I am planning on doing so. If you have any specific assets that I've worked on in the past that you'd like to buy, just send me a message on Discord and I'll tell you if I can sell it or not. uh, okay, I'm very flexible. Like, um, I plan on my assistant's gonna help me. We're going to prepare like a lot of my models from the past into STLs and then sell those on Etsy probably or like Gumroad or somewhere, and then you guys can buy them if you'd like. If not, that's fine too. I don't know how to see chat so that I can post the link to my Discord. Oh, shit. Why is it so hard? Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna post all my links. Might as well, right? Discord is on there. It's a lot of links. Okay. Twitch, to be careful. Yeah, I'm being careful. Make sure we don't flash Twitch here. How do you prevent burnout with work? Can you send us? Oh yeah, comics. I just sent a video. I linked to my YouTube. Okay. Oh, thank you, Isley. I'm glad you think I look well. Okay. So how do I deal with burnout? I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. Little bit of a secret of burnout, which is honestly, like quite honestly, I suffer from burnout just like everybody else. I had burnout so bad around 2016, 2017 that every moment since then, it's always been a battle to not burn out again because to me it's like a trigger switch. Like it was so bad that my body can very easily get back like this. Like I don't have to do the things that I did the first time to burn out. It's just continuous. Like it's just always ready to go back. So a few things. One, always listen to your body and your feelings. Listen to your feelings, okay? If you're starting to have bad feelings of like, why do I even do this? Or I don't want to do this. Like that should be a warning to you that things aren't looking so good on the burnout scale or the mental health scale in general. Okay. We are often told in these kinds of societies that our feelings don't matter. False. Okay. Well, look out for your feelings. Take care of yourself. 2, take breaks, and not just that, but develop the discipline of taking breaks. What does that mean? It simply means that if you take a break and you feel guilty the whole time you're taking a break because you should be working, it's not a real break. And you're just wasting time at that point. You gotta take a break and you gotta actually embrace the break, realize that it's okay to take the break, just forget about work for a while, feel no guilt. Okay, this is something I'm guilty of. Like I'll take breaks now and I'll be like thinking about work the whole time. That does not actually rest you. All right, so take those freaking breaks and do it right. Make a point of it. Schedule it in. One thing that I found with my mentees that helps them take breaks without feeling guilty is that if they schedule it in, like, hey, Saturday I'm taking a break. Everybody knows I'm taking a break. It's okay for me to take a break this Saturday. It's my only job. It tends to help a little bit, so give it a shot. Let's see what else is important for burnout. Sleep. Sounds real simple. I definitely have one of the worst sleep schedules ever. Ask any of my students in school. They might tell you, like, if I've been close enough to them with all the social distancing stuff, if I've been near them, they'll tell you that my eyes are always red, and just because I don't sleep properly. And like honestly, that's one of the worst things you can do for yourself. My eyes are always freaking red. Always. It's almost embarrassing sometimes. Then, let's say you're teetering on the edge of burnout, or you are already burned out and you're trying to come back. There's one thing that I do that always helps, and I tell my mentees to do it all the time, and nobody's ever said that it didn't work. I don't know if they've like verbally said that it did work, but nobody's ever said it didn't work, so it must be real and really good. Which is, one, remind yourself of what your passion and your goals even are in the first place. Like, for example, for me, there are certain games and movies that really inspire that little itch that I had to create, right? A lot of us are creatives. A lot of us felt that desire as growing up as children. Like, man, I really want to draw right now. Man, I really want to like sculpt something right now. Or write a story, or think about a character, just like stare at a wall and like have a whole imaginary battle or whatever. Like, dude, like cutscene or whatever, right? So what makes you want to do that? What's gonna light that fire again for you? That fire is gonna drive you. You know what I mean? That fire is the fuel you need. So if you need to, take a day or two or a week off and play God of War. Like, but you're doing it because it's going to drive you to continue pushing later, and it's going to make you want to create, then do it. It's the best investment you can do for yourself. And not just that, but like another thing that the artist community does that's super toxic is like not we, because like I don't do this anymore, but I've definitely been guilty of like doing it before. Like kind of like praising people for working hard, long hours, not sleeping, you know, like if you actually balance rest and work, you'll grow faster than if you just work. Okay? Remember that it's a marathon, not a sprint. You gotta pace yourself. Otherwise, you're just making a big mistake that you'll pay for later. And we should always be thinking about the future, big picture, right? So what if you do all this work now if you can't lift a pencil 2 months from now and do anything? Okay, so remember that. And this goes much further than just burnout and like resting. It's actually like a health thing as well. So like a lot of people that I know that overwork end up with carpal tunnel. I mean, I have for sure. I have carpal tunnel. It haunted my life for many years. It doesn't anymore as much. Sometimes I have a flare up, but normally I'm okay now. And like I wasn't able to get okay until like I actually stopped treating my body like shit. You know, so there's a lot of advice there. If you guys have any more advice, please let the person know in chat and I'll read it out loud. Cakester says you're doing very well for yourself. Aw, thanks. Do you convert any of your work to NFTs? So I do not participate in NFTs right now. I chose very early on during the craze of NFTs that I was not going to participate due to many reasons. Hey Adrian, now I stream every Sunday. This is my spot now. Nobody can take it away. It's my spot. It's my Sunday spot. Carlos, hola. Thank you, Anna. Discord is way above my attention span. That's for young folks. Okay, just message me wherever you want to message me. Your advice is hitting me hard. By break, how long we talking? However long it needs to be. I don't know how you need. I feel guilty the whole time. Yeah, if you feel guilty when you're taking a break, you might as well just not take a break, honestly. Like, but definitely try to work on that. Like, I recommend journaling or hiring a therapist or both, just for a lot of reasons, not just for break taking, but like, journaling is a huge thing that I started doing last year that has, guys, changed my freaking life. Like, exploring my feelings and my limiting beliefs, right? What I mean by that is like, I had a lot of limiting beliefs that were sabotaging my growth in my life. And by writing down the bad feelings and the bad thoughts that I'm having and then like trying to work through them helps quite a lot. I have this app called Woebot. I don't have it anymore actually on my phone, but because I think I've learned the lessons that Woebot had to teach. But basically Woebot, whenever you're having a bad moment, you tell Wobot what you're going through. So like Wobots are like, "What's going on?" And you're like, "Oh man, I feel like I want to give up on my art dreams." Okay, let's pretend that art because I'm not a good enough artist or something like that. Then Wobot will ask you like, "Hey, how about let's look through your feelings and your thoughts. Like, are you doing any thought distortions?" And then it'll explain to you what thought distortions are. Um, Things like, are you catastrophizing? Is that a word? Catastrophizing? Are you, how do you say it? Trying to mind read? Are you trying to be psychic? Future predict? Like, it sounds ridiculous, but here's my thing. For example, I'll have thoughts where I'm like, everybody is judging me right now, right? And then Wobot was like, are you trying to mind read? Are you trying to assume what people are thinking? Because deep down you don't know. And I'm like, yeah, I am Wobot. And then Wobot's like, no, stop it, bitch. Basically, that's my relationship with Wobot. Anyway, I recommend working through your feelings and your bad thoughts. Okay, it sounds annoying, but you know, honestly, if you have the courage to look inside, you'll have the courage to do anything you want after that. Is life better when college is done? It depends on the life, I guess. What are you gonna do after college? That is such a difficult question to ask somebody because, like, I don't know what your college experience is like, right? Some people peak in college. um, by the wording of your question, I'm gonna assume that's not the vibe that you're getting from college. But some people do, you know. As an NT, I can say that when it works to go back to your thing. I really want that drink you have. It gives a delicious vibe. To drink this? It's water. It's cold water with ice. Why are you talking to me like this, Anna? It's hitting. Thank you, Francis. Thank you for sharing this information. I really appreciate the advice. This is a side of art that is rarely talked about. I talk about this stuff all the time. I write articles on this too, but for my supporters. But yeah, like totally. Like she said, listen to your body. If you're ready to get back to work, then get back to it. Lol, right? Yeah, actually. Like Selwyn, I'll tell you something. Like in the month of April and the start of May, you would be shocked and appalled at how much I worked this month. Probably the only people that know it are like people in my direct life and maybe my assistant and video editor, and I'm not even sure if they know it that well. Like I have been working non-stop, but the difference is that I'm not forcing myself. I've been working with a smile on my face this whole time. It doesn't feel bad. It feels really good. I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be like, I gotta go make coffee. And then I'm like, oh, but then after I can write this thing that I've been meaning to write, and I can do this thing, and I can like talk to this mentee. You know, like literally that's how I've been feeling. And I really think that like operating from this level of like it feels good is not gonna burn me out, right? But it's a phase. I can tell you it's not gonna last forever. Probably in June or something, I'm gonna want to take a week and just lay in bed. You know, the work is still the same, but I'm going to want to not do it, right? So like I don't know if you were joking or not, but like seriously, if your body is like excited to work, like take that moment and do the work. It's kind of how I used to feel as a child. I've talked about this on stream, and some people relate to it, some people don't. Where like I used to have this like little like twitch in my right hand that made me want to create, like literally like I would start thinking about drawing and my right hand would start to like spasm a little bit, just excited to pick up the pencil and draw, and it would just feel really good to like give in to that feeling, you know. I don't get that anymore. Then that's a whole other story we can get into some other day. But you know, if your body and if you're something inside of you is saying to create, creates, right? One bad habit I have is that I start to doubt why I'm even doing what I'm doing, so it creates this feeling of worthlessness. Eternal, we've all been there. And it's real easy. Like you just gotta remember why you're doing what you're doing. Is it worth it at all? I'm not joking. Like I tell every mentee I have to think big picture. so that they already know how to respond to that situation because it happens to everybody. So basically, what it is just like think big picture and create a goal in a life that you want to work towards, that feels good to work towards. Because if you don't have that, what's going to drive you? Like, there's nothing that's really guaranteed to drive you. Like, Steven Anderson, I was posting about this on Instagram, and he responded like his driving force is that he knows he needs to take care of his family. That's valid. That never goes away. That that's a feeling that he can rely on time and time again to keep him moving forward. For me, I have my own extremely I have my own ambitions that are very ambitious. And when I'm feeling like I can't do it anymore, I remember those and they excite me, right? So just remember why you're doing it in the first place. And if you can't think of a why, then perhaps question doing it. Like, there's nothing wrong with questioning doing it, you know? But, like, think of the jobs you want to have, the money you want to make. Like, it can be, quote, selfish things, you know? Like, we, like, demonize money, we demonize fame and fortune, whatever it is that you want. But, like, there's nothing wrong with wanting those things. Allow yourself to want those things if you want them. Contentment and balance in all things. Son, I'm glad you liked Wobot. Let me know if it goes well. I also tend to run into artist stops where I just can't get inspiration for the work I'm doing. Yeah, that happens. I no longer really care about inspiration anymore. Because, like, once you do this for a living for a while, like, you'll know that nobody cares if you're inspired or not. You just gotta get the work done, you know? And then you just kind of, like, learn how to cope. I think I'm gonna leave like some brush strokes to kind of like start creating skin flow or organicness like that. My body wants to work on my personal projects, not my graded uni work. I'm not gonna. So I probably shouldn't weigh on this because I am a college professor and I don't want my students to hear it. But when I was in college, I literally had some clear priorities. I was like, people of the university, I want to be a character artist. You guys don't teach character art. I will be doing character art only, no questions. I hope you understand, and if not, fuck yeah, fuck it. So my GPA dropped after that, but I did what I wanted to do to some degree, you know. At the end of the day, like, I'm the master of my own journey, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna do that thing. Normally the teachers were flexible though, like they would be like, okay, instead of doing like this window in 3ds Max, you can do a character, and I'd be like, yay. Not all teachers are flexible. I am, because like I know the value of it, you know. Depending on the class, of course, but any recommendations for someone who is just starting? Starting what? What advice would you give for those wanting to make this things perfect and adding extra pressure? Oh boy. I feel like I'm gonna get perfectionism like instructions tattooed across my body probably. Let me see what I've written down about perfectionism. I mean, like, I've dealt with it, so like I am very I was very perfectionism. Perfectionistic, I suppose. I've written like this article I can show you guys about perfectionism. Let me share my screen properly. There it is. I accidentally hid my camera. Okay, we're back. I wrote this article on perfectionism. I haven't actually shared it with my mentees yet and all my supporters. But basically, it talks about like perfectionism, what it is, how to realize that it's not a good thing. You know, the kinds of perfectionism, the cost of perfectionism, like how to fix it, and things like that. It's not an easy thing to fix, right? Like that's it's real hard. You know, it all starts with your mindset, and I'm going to give the same recommendation I did, the same recommendation I did for anything. Just work through it, read about it, study it, journal it out, question the feelings, listen to your feelings. Odds are there's some stuff deeply ingrained inside you that makes you that way. Where do we sign up to read your articles? So I have a Patreon. If you get even any Patreon tier, actually I only sell one on Patreon now. Um, gosh. If you get the $3 a month tier, you can get the articles as they're posted. With the $3 a month tier, you don't get most of the other stuff that I give. Just some articles and stuff like that as they come out more publicly, but not publicly. It's still not public at all. But yeah, everybody else, like the mentees and workshoppers, they get access to like the full database all at the same time. Perfectionism is horrible. It's a disease. It's unrealistic expectations, unrealistic standards. You need to really start lowering your standards, and it sounds bad to say, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If you're a perfectionistic person, you are simply not gonna get anything done ever to your standards, because your standards can't be achieved, because they're impossible, because they're perfectionistic. You have to set standards that are realistic to your current skill level, right? Odds are, if you're perfectionism, you even like won't recognize when you actually get to the level that you want to be, because the standards are always growing. You know, like as you go. I don't know. I don't feel like particularly called to continue talking about this topic right now, but I do have an entire article on it if you guys would like to read it. Just go to my Patreon, $3. Got this. Is ZBrush cool for environment modeling? So ZBrush has ZModeler. It's like this really neat hard surface stuff. Modeling. You could try it. I have a month left of my degree, and then I can work on my personal projects. Hooray! Where are you from? Brazil. Do you always sculpt with a base mesh? Do you use Dynamesh for bodies? No, I normally sculpt from scratch. Sometimes I use base meshes. Where do you sign up to read? Oh, I already read that. I would not. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just like rushing through all the messages I missed. I would not be a part of an NFT project, but thank you for asking. If you want my OnlyFans, I only do direct stuff, so send me about $100,000 and we'll talk. That is just for me to read your message, okay? Not send you anything. Why is everyone asking the artists to make NFTs now? Guar, hello! How are you doing? I need to draw braided hair. Do you have a tip about it for me? Draw or like in ZBrush. Because if you do in ZBrush, I have this right here that I just made. Which is like, it's not braided hair, but it's like similar-ish. There was a different part too that had the braids, but I don't know where to put it. Might be in here. Yeah. Like this. All I did, I think I still have the file open. Let's see. Yeah, this is what I made. So like, it's not perfect yet. Let's see. Like that. So I guess you could use something like this for braids, just to make it better than the way I did it. But basically I just made this mesh right here. Basically like the single cell, I guess, of the braid. I made it offset so that as I made it multiple, like I can just I guess it won't let me, but like so that it could be like basically tiling, so to speak. Um, so yeah, that's how I did that. Like I think this would be a good technique for you to do your braids. Just that you should do it good. Spend a little bit more time on it than I did for mine. Don't know where my project is anymore. Do you do portfolio reviews? So I do portfolio reviews in under two circumstances. First one is that every once in a while on my own Twitch channel, I'll do portfolio reviews for anybody who wants to participate. Normally it's like a 3-4 hour long stream, and everybody gets portfolio reviews, or at least I try to get to everybody as much as possible. And then the other scenario in which I do portfolio reviews is if you join my mentorship, then I will do much more than just review your portfolio. Like we kind of like make a plan for improvement, all the stuff together. It's really cool, but I don't have any spots open right now. Unfortunately, I'm capped out at how many people I can attend. But if you like to wait and like do the portfolio review during the stream, I don't know when it's going to be. I think it's going to be at the end of May, probably. I never tried making clothing inside of ZBrush. Do you think it's more valuable right now to try to sculpting the clothing or use Marvelous Designer? Use Marvelous Designer. I would say that Marvelous Designer followed by ZBrush tends to be the standard right now, as far as what everybody's doing and expecting from professional artists. That's just my vision on it, but I do recommend it that way. I'd like to create hairbrushes, IMM and ZBrush like dreadlocks and other detailed hair. For dreadlocks, I'd perhaps consider triparts IMM. I finally caught up with chat. It always feels so final. I'm a big fan of the thighs right now. Curupira, sim. Não, caipora, quer dizer. Tyler, I'm not a bully. I was dead serious. To make dreadlocks properly, is fiber mesh overkill or too slow for tripart IMM? I'm not sure. I think you can pull it off. Não, agora eu expliquei no início que eu botei o pé invertido, mas vou voltar botar de novo normal. How old were you when you got your first job on 3D design? I think I was 19 or 20, but it was like just internships and small jobs. I think my first real good job was at 20. I think her thighs are too long, or maybe the torso's not long enough. One of the two. Maybe a little bit of A, a little bit of B. Alright, it looks a little funky. This character base mesh. I did use base mesh for this. Hard time with Isla base mesh. Well, that probably means you need to practice how to do Isla base mesh. You know what I mean? I'm gonna post up my links again. Oh, that's not the right thing. I have my new YouTube channel for tutorials and videos and stuff like that. I have a bunch of videos on it. Well, by a bunch I mean like 9, but still, it's still cool that I have that many videos on there. Right there's my workshops and mentorships. I currently don't have any mentorship spots open, but you know, in the future I might. So if you're ever interested, please let me know. Like, you can just message me or something, and I'll put you on the waiting list too, so that you can be messaged directly whenever a spot either has just opened up or is about to. One sec. Anna Carolina is a Latin name. You're right. It's okay, the troll person was blocked. They will never have the honor of watching another ZBrush stream in their life. Well, thank you guys for defending, FYI. It's nice of you. I appreciate that. You know, the evil laugh. Do you know anyone who can concept sculpt, retopple, rig, animate a character, and then make a movie? I know some people that can do that. Why? Like, making a movie part is a little bit... I don't think, like, that's one step. That's, like, many steps. I don't know about the whole making a movie. Oh, look, symmetry is Seems a little bit like it's seen better days. Okay, I'll just re-symmetrize re-symmetry later. So you get for using base meshes. What tablet are you using? I have two. One is the Cintiq Pro, and the other one is an Intuos. Looks like there's multiple songs playing at the same time. Could you recommend a few good books on anatomy? I just recommend the one that I always recommend, which is Anatomy for Sculptors, best anatomy book ever. I'm glad to know that 3D modeling information is accessible to train and then get a job. Yeah, it really is. There's so much information everywhere, all over the internet. You can theoretically learn for free everything you need to know if you just found the right stuff on the internet. Which I think is the hard part. It's all what I always hear my mentees talking about, like how they don't know which tutorials to follow, etc. Hey guys, is there anything you want to talk about? We talked about so far perfectionism, a little bit of folklore, a little bit of burnouts, like the trifecta. Only thing we're missing is, yeah, there's too many options. Too many options. You just got a high poly sculpt inside Unreal 5, but that real-time lighting is amazing. Lighting. The future is now. It's now. Yeah, the future is now. It's definitely pretty nice out there right now. Here goes the whole body. I'm gonna go ahead and apply some toy plastic to the eyes, and then later I'll fix them. If I can ever find toy plastic. Then maybe turn down the shadows in this material a little bit. Do you do any 2D art in your free time? No, nope, definitely not. Not anymore, I used to. The trifecta would be imposter syndrome, exactly. Getting your advice on how to build speed. The best advice I've ever seen anywhere about how to build speed is that you should just time yourself and try to get everything done within that time. It's probably going to look like awful at first, but if you do that enough, eventually the quality that you used to achieve before you started timing yourself is going to come back, but, you know, much faster. No. So you're basically going to have to go through like a pretty hard time of like sucking at art, but then you'll eventually get faster. Can you still record a series for those of us who can't afford mentorship? So I'm planning on making a course. It's gonna be like pre-recorded. So I don't have the prices for that yet. But I'm gonna make a bunch of courses or like mini workshops, things like that that you could participate in. Do you have any sculpt in VR? I'm going to buy Oculus Quest, but I'm in debt. If the VR sculpting programs work on my PC. I don't understand. I'm in debt. I don't sculpt in VR very often. It's not my thing. Hi, John Pratt. We're gonna have to do a lot of fixing, as far as the eye is concerned. Looks a little meh. Hi, keyframe. I'm gonna pinch this area up a little bit. Slow rendering issue. I have to look into what's causing that. Sauce Lord, thank you. I'm glad you liked it, keyframe. Imposter syndrome has been coming up a lot lately. Like, I'm currently working on an article about that. It's just real hard one to crack. Real hard to crack. Like, and whatever fixes imposter syndrome for one person might not work for the other, or it just makes things more complicated and everything like that. You know, I can tell you guys what fixed my imposter syndrome, but it might not work for you, right? Because we're all different. Um, but yeah, it was like a sequence of events, you know, like I had to learn a lot of life experiences before I could ever even begin to tackle my imposter syndrome. If you haven't if you have a scanned item like a shoe, can you retopple it and use the scan texture somehow? Yeah, you can retopple it and bake the textures from the original, like you would with any other kind of baking process, like with a game art pipeline. I was following your story on Stylus League and had a question on what you think of focusing purely on sculpting for industry work. I know you got into tech. I was first focusing on concept art, sculpting, retopple, rigging, but got if I'd stick to only sculpting, that would be enough. But I'm not sure about that advice. Right now, I haven't touched retopple or rigging. Um, Man, I wanna unpack this. Who said that? Are they currently working in the industry? Are they a sculptor? Are they making enough money just sculpting to live? Um, was there any more details of why they said that? What industry are you trying to get into in the first place? Like, is it games? Is it collectibles? Animation? Those Twitch messages show on YouTube chat? I think so. I think you guys just hear my back crack. What H Barker? What were movies or games inspired to use versus 3D sculpting? So I actually wasn't necessarily a movie or games. Like I was already doing art and they inspired art, but like the 3D sculpting, I just was inspired by this like one class I took that happened to teach me 3D sculpting. I was like, I like this. I'm gonna keep doing it. So I've learned they've been working in the industry and only have done 2D concept art. They thought me knowing sculpting would make higher value, but that's what I was questioning of the advice. Yeah. Okay. Um, could you have a totally successful, abundant career only doing 3D sculpting? Yes, it's a possibility. Okay. Is it way harder than learning the rest of the stuff you need to learn? Yes. Um, that's something for like if you have all the time in the world, no rush at all to become one of the best sculptors around, so that you can have the possibility to only do sculpting, then yeah, go for it. If you want to get a job in the meantime, I don't particularly recommend it. Sculpture is only part of the process of creating a character, and it really reduces your value to the most job markets if you only know one part of the process. However, there are exceptions, right? Like if you want to go into collectibles, then like sculpting becomes a bigger part of the process, but then you should still learn how to process a sculpt for being produced, right? Jesus Christ, what's going on with YouTube today? You guys are fucking assholes today. Not everybody, just a few. Boop. There you go. Okay, we're gonna have to clean house. One sec. Okay, there we go. I think I got everybody now. Did I get everybody? Somebody tell me. Clean sweep. Just get rid of everyone. It's always YouTube. It's because Twitch now has way better auto moderations. You think it's the same guy? Yeah, it sounds like a different guy. Yeah. Okay. What were we talking about? So yeah, so it all comes down to a matter of odds, right? This is what I read a lot about in my book. So what are we talking about when we talk about odds? Basically, let's say you want to get a very competitive type of job, right? Which is what a lot of what we do here. It's very competitive, right? Character arts, being in collectibles, toys, things like that tends to be pretty competitive, pretty hard to get into. So, what we do, we have to align ourselves and kind of position ourselves the best way we can in order to be able to, how do I put it, like, have the best odds in that composition, or in that competition. Alright. Best odds in the competition. By skipping out on an entire skill set that 90% of the jobs require, you're kind of reducing your odds in that competition. It's not necessarily a good thing. But then you got to make that decision for yourself. You know, like, do you have that time to spend? I mean, if you lower your odds in one way, like, but is it worth it for you? There's no wrong answer here, right? A lot of people are going to tell you what to do with your life. Just, you know, do what the research tells you to do what your priorities are. If you're in this art industry just because you want to sculpt forever and everything else like doesn't matter, money doesn't matter, time doesn't matter, like then do it, right? However, do you know that with every choice comes consequences, or every choice has pros and cons and give and takes? How do I translate my anatomy skills into stylized works? Obviously practice, but do you know anyone in particular to look out for? I would definitely, like, how do I put it? I don't know how to answer that question. It's so specific. Like, you can still break down the muscle shapes, like the muscle groups, into simplified form and apply that. A lot of people do that, like, just with, like, very simple primitives. I'd say focus on sculpting or drawing art fundamentals first. You probably won't get into the character art position in the first place if the level of your art isn't up to a certain standard. Does the odds matter? So they do matter for certain things. But again, it's not universal. None of it's universal. It depends on your priorities. Do you want to get a job fast? Well, then there are certain things you probably need to do. Do you want to get the perfect job instead of getting it fast and you can wait? Then do other things. Are you from Spain? No, I'm from Brazil. People are making money sculpting clothes for video games. People make money doing a lot of stuff. For sure. There's a lot of ways to make money in this industry. There's definitely a lot of demand right now. Adding some softness to the face. I do not know that, Diego. Time is definitely a factor. Originally planned to make my own animations and such. The process aligned with my main goals anyway. I guess just because I heard from someone in the industry shying me away, it threw me off. But I'm glad I asked you. It helps me realize the path a bit more. So retap and rigging will be back on the list. Thanks for the advice. I definitely recommend, like, and this is for everybody, like, avoid overly relying on the advice of others and try doing some clear research for yourself, because every person's priorities are different, goals are different, timelines are different, right? So I definitely don't recommend, like, overly listening to people's advice, like, for what you should and shouldn't do, right? Like, it's one thing to, like, get advice on, like, how to believe in yourself, whatever. Like, it's a different thing to receive advice for giving up an entire part of the industry, like quitting your job, stuff like that. That stuff is important. It's huge, and it could work well for you or against you. So definitely take everything with a grain of salt, right? Good people to ask advice from are people that already have the thing that you want to have, right? Like, be it whatever, right? So you probably shouldn't take advice from a 2D artist about what you should learn to be a 3D artist unless they've had that experience, and vice versa. You wouldn't be giving a 2D artist advice, right, theoretically, on what they should do with their 2D art career, unless actually have had that experience. Otherwise, it's just very arrogant to give that kind of advice, and it's a lot of responsibility to take on yourself too. Like, tell somebody what to do with their life. Worst kind of advice is like the defeatist type as well, like where people just tell you to give up. You're never gonna be an artist, whatever. Like, people say that all the time to each other, and it's shitty advice. Don't listen to it. I talk to my mentees all the time, like, about who to listen to for advice, who to listen to for critiques, feedback, right? Not everybody's feedback is worth the same. You guys know this, right? If you're, for example, working on an anatomy sculpt, and somebody who's never done an anatomy sculpt before gives you feedback, it's not worth the same as if somebody who does it every day and isn't well known for it. And sometimes receiving too much advice can be bad, and it can be very conflicting. Take everything with a grain of salt, people. Your life is very much important, and it should be under your control. Don't make rash decisions. Like, don't blindly trust. How do I improve my anatomy skills? I need to see your slingshot. Copy that. Is ZBrush? What does that mean? Can't go wrong with Mike Pavlovich. He definitely knows everything there is to know about, like, ZBrush and a ton of other softwares. I just need to have good criteria on what advices to take. Source says sauce. Right, it's just when I'm in this position of no power and no experience in the field, sometimes it's hard to understand where to look. It's like going into a scary jungle and not knowing how to get through it. Desperation can set in at times, especially when money is looming over. I know, I 100% understand. 100%. Careful research is going to be your best friend. So tell me, let's talk about your situation in particular. What job are you trying to go for, and in what industry? Those are very important information that I don't think you've given me yet. This goes to show, like, why taking advice from people is dangerous. They don't know the full picture, right? But, like, for example, if I was trying to go for... Well, I mean, I'm literally trying to help you guys by asking you these questions, and you're not answering. I don't know how to help. But, like, how do you do research? Like, that is a very important skill to have, so we can definitely talk about that. Give me one sec. Okay, research. So, how do I say it? First, you need to know what the heck you want, which is why I'm asking you guys what you want, right? Do you want to be a character artist in the industry? What industry? Games? Movies? What studios? You want to work for yourself? You want to be a freelancer? You want to be a contractor? What country do you want to live in? How much money do you want to make? You guys gotta know all of that before you even start your research. Oh god, I lost my chats. So I lost chats, so I might not be able to answer everybody's questions that I haven't gotten to. Okay, so let's pretend that you want to be a character artist in games, making realistic characters. Your number one studio is Naughty Dog or something. Okay. Okay, now you get a starting point for your research. Go online and find out if Naughty Dog is hiring. If so, what skills are they looking for? It's that easy, guys. So then they'll say, hey, we need character artists that know how to do anatomy, animals, retopping, texturing, whatever, okay? Then you put that on your list, and you're like, okay, these are the things I need. Continue doing research. If Naughty Dog doesn't work out, what's the second best company for you? What's the third best company for you? Just figure that out. They all should have job openings. They should all have people that work there. What does their portfolio look like? What did they have in their portfolio when they got the job? It's that easy. In the job applications, they'll say exactly what softwares they want the ideal candidate to know, exactly what skills they want the ideal candidate to know, all this stuff. And then you cut out the middleman, right? It's one thing to just go up to like a teacher in college, or depends on the teacher, depends on the college, but like some random person on the internet in a Discord chat and ask them what you need to know to be a character artist at Naughty Dog. Like, how are they supposed to know? Even if they knew 5 years ago, it's probably different now, right? Like, really think critically with me for a second, right? So, once you're armed with all that information, that's data. Knowledge is power, people. Good knowledge, right? You're not going to find this information on Reddit. You're not going to find it on Polycount or on a Twitch stream. You're going to find it directly at the source. Then, once you realize exactly what you want and exactly what you need, just chart forward and without insecurity, right? Of like not knowing what you need to do, right? That insecurity is just going to get in the way. Like once you know, just do the thing. About research, it reminds me people's mistakes on relying on influencers on Instagram, and it makes me mad. Have you ever worked in both studio and freelancing, both game and cinematic? What's the ideal position for you, considering both money and foreign art on the job? Are you asking me specifically, or the person who was saying stuff? Yeah, with that insecurity, just practice and build a portfolio. And one of my fears for you guys is that like you spend all this time practicing the wrong things, you know? Very easy to do. So that's why researching will help. Make smart decisions. Smart decisions are backed by data. If you learn nothing else by this stream, just remember that. Okay? Me, so my ideal job is... I don't want to tell you. My ideal job is very weird and strange. But I've worked at a studio, I've worked freelance, I've worked as a teacher, I've done VR and games, I don't do cinematics, I enjoyed being a tech artist. What makes it a lot easier, just see what they're asking for in the job description. That's the research. I didn't really understand how to research. There you go. Just go find it. It's all over the internet. Indeed, ArtStation has their own job platform. Glassdoor. And remember, like, the more specific you are, the better. Okay? Clown says, having strong mentors are a must. Sometimes you might not want to hear what they have to say. If you respect them, you might want to listen. Don't put bridges in your portfolio if you want to be a character artist. Yeah. Do you guys hear two songs at the same time? Or is it just me? Am I going crazy? Like, my stream is open, but it's muted. So how strange. Tech artist, yes. But in the future, I'm kind of trying to break free of these titles, you know? You'll see what I do. You're gonna see. Well, you won't miss it. Ana, pode mostrar aquele negócio de macro de novo que você fez na apresentação? Eu tentei fazer, mas ele criou um cubo aleatório em vez de usar a forma que eu tinha associado. Eu tô sem tempo pra poder mostrar agora, já que não faz parte da minha apresentação que eu tenho planejado pra hoje, mas tenta fazer de novo. Eu não sei, talvez você tenha selecionado a coisa errada na hora do macro. Talvez, eu não sei. Tenta ver se você selecionou a coisa certa. Good for you, that's the money roll to techie for me. I was tech artist for 5 years. Now I'm just teaching it and a few other things. Nobody knows this, like, I mention it all the time, but I'm always surprising people anyway. About the tech art thing, like, that's my real day job, so... I've been doing it for a long, long time. I listen to podcasts at experts already working on any field on chat and seeing their portfolio, exploring offers and demand on Fiverr, etc. That way I found it's possible for me to make a living as a freelancer in 3D from research. Is that okay? Yeah, sure. That's fine. Got a little bit of a kind of a straight line here that is not so good. I definitely have been telling my mentees that are trying to get into freelancing, but they don't have a good network, to put their work on Fiverr and things like that, just to start building, like, momentum and things like that. Build momentum, build a reputation, get some good reviews going, get some word of mouth going. I'm definitely not against that kind of thing, but I don't see it as a long-term solution either. Like, I think Fiverr is great for just starting off. Is it correct to use references to create something new? Yeah, that's the ideal way, I think. That's a good relief. No one taught me how to research. Just look on LinkedIn, the studio, the last hires, and go from there. Just copy their portfolio. That's what I did. I've been in the business for 20 years. But literally, clown, I tell my mentees to do that all the time. It's like one of the first assignments anybody does for me is to like go find who the heck's working at the companies and what their work looks like and stuff. We don't copy, but like we definitely like take cues. Yeah, if to get a job at this place, everybody had a portfolio full of gun models or something, like, then having a gun model or two might not be a bad idea. Coffee was a bad choice of words. Lucas, obrigada. Bem-vindo. Nice. I did tech art education for 3 years at uni. Jumped off last minute to pursue character art. Best decision I've ever made. Most fun job I've ever had is modeling for game cinematics. Nice, Anton. Literally on Glassdoor now. This is so important. I literally wish I still had spots on my mentorship, because this is the kind of stuff like that we do, you know, like that I help with, is like clearing all these doubts, getting on the right path for you. That's why it has to be a mentorship, not a course. You know what I mean? Because it's the right path for each person. It's different for each person. I literally it was one day of research that made my whole career change overnight, because I wanted to be a character artist. I had 90 days to find a job or get kicked out of the country because I was on a student visa. And I was like, okay, I'm probably not going to get a character art job in 90 days. What could I get in 90 days? And I was like, I Googled it. What's the most in-demand job position in the industry? Wouldn't you know, it was tech artist. Then I Googled what I needed to know as a tech artist. I bought a couple courses. I went to my friend's house. We did the courses. And then within 60 days, I had a job without even ever applying to any jobs. Just because I that was my priority at the time. And I would like to talk to you guys about that too. Like, priorities are everything. You gotta figure your shit out before you go ahead, right? Like, my priority was not to get a character art job. That was going to come later. I was like, whatever, I'll do a character art job once this looming knife, the sword of Damocles, is no longer over my head, right? So I was like, okay, I need a job in 90 days. I need it fast. What's going on? So I decided to learn to be a tech artist. It was so in demand, still is, that I literally just told a couple people. I was like, what's up, people? I want to be a tech artist. In a few weeks, I got a message on Facebook saying, I heard you want to be a tech artist. Come work for me. And that was it. Because that was my priority at the time. I literally said, heck to my dreams, I'm going to be a tech artist so I can stay and then follow my dreams later. Right? It was a sacrifice I made. I ended up loving it. I ended up staying in it forever. Not forever, but pretty long time. Still am in it, technically. You know? And that's why you need to know what you want, right? Sometimes you can't have everything at once, but that's okay. What do you want now? What do you want later? What's your priority now? What is your priority for 10 years from now? Make your decisions based on, input, follow your feelings, follow your dreams, and all that stuff, good stuff. What were the courses? One of them, it was so basic. None of it was, proper tech art, but at the time I thought it was. So one of them was basic Unreal Engine. How to use it, blueprinting, things like that, how to set up materials in Unreal Engine. The other one was how to set materials in Substance Designer. I made some wood materials in Substance Designer. And that was it. The guy, the company I went to work at, they were like, hey, we need a technical artist. Are you willing to learn on the job? And I was like, fuck yeah. And they were like, then you're perfect. And then they hired me. And I started right after that. And then I did learn on the job. It was not easy, right? I was working a lot. I was staying up all night trying to figure out what the heck's going on. I was given all these extremely difficult technical tasks because that was the whole point of the job, right? And I was just figuring them out little by little, just not being afraid, again, to do research, right? I'd like to thank Google for my career. And so, with that particular sacrifice, that's how I became a tech artist. And it was all, again, research and strategic decision making. Surprised you're a tech artist since your artistic and anatomy skills are fantastic. You are needy. Thank you, Anton. I do a little bit of both, a little bit here, a little bit there. I do both because, I became a tech artist out of necessity. I ended up liking it, but, character art was still my dream. So what I did was, and this is my whole life story, right? I tell the story normally in order, but it's not in order right now. What I did was, what did I do? I decided I'm going to be a tech artist in the day and a character artist at night. and I just started streaming so that I'd be held accountable to character arts, right? Eventually became part of the character arts, like ZBrushing worlds online, part of the community, you know. Um, and so I just doing both because all of this came out of my necessity to be able to control something in my career. I'll tell you guys, like, I'm about to stop the stream, but I'm going to start a new stream on my channel. So at 7 p.m. my time, in 11 minutes, I'm going to stop the stream and start a new stream on my channel. Okay, so just so you guys know, get ready to go ahead to get ready to switch over. But anyway, point is that I had no control over my own career. I had no control over my life at that point. I was beheld by laws, regulations of being on a visa, first student visa, then a work visa. They have so many rules. They make my life extremely vulnerable and inflexible. For example, like once I got on the work visa, that was great. But if I got fired, I would be deported. You know what I mean? Like that is a lack of control that you just don't want to have. You don't want to have that fear over your head all the time, right? And there's nothing I could do. But then one day I was like, and you couldn't do freelancing, you couldn't earn money on the side, right? Those of you who know. So I was like, what can I do that gives me some sort of opportunity that could open a door in the future, you know? And I was like, really racking my brain. And then one day I found out what Twitch was. Literally, I asked somebody, I was like, there was this girl at a party, and everybody was like surrounding her, and she felt like a mini celebrity or something. And I asked somebody, I was like, what does she do? And he went, she's a streamer. And I'm like, what is a streamer? And he's like, oh yeah, there's this site called Twitch, and you can stream. It's like broadcasting. And I go, like the news? I thought Twitch was for the news, people. And they were like, no, it's not like that. So later they showed me Twitch and like a bunch of people playing games. And I was like, there we go. There's the answer. There's the answer right there. I can stream on Twitch and try to regain some hope and some control over my life. Something that can't be taken away from me. Something that could build my future, right? Something that could open a door. It only takes one right person to open a door for you, right? So if you stream, even if there's like 10 people watching, 5 people watching, like you never know who's the one. You know what I mean? And then the rest is history. Will you be streaming on YouTube or Twitch? So both. I've started streaming on both channels right now. So yeah, like, and it all came from, again, answering questions. Like, I would like to say that, like, research, when we talk about research, like, it'd be cool to just frame it as, like, answering questions. The better your question, the more specific your question, the better your research. Yeah? So, I didn't ask the question, like, what can I do on the side? It was more like, what can I do on the side that helps me further my career without breaking any of the rules? And I can do character art and like all these things, right? And that way you can kind of find out the answers to these really, really specific questions. In other words, under capitalism, we are replaceable because you mentioned being fired. Links to your channel? Yeah, I'll give you guys links to my channels just for now so that whenever we move, it's a smooth transition. If you guys want, you can even open it on a new tab and wait. So I'm going to share my YouTube channel and then my own Twitch channel. I'm going to stream to both, so whichever one you like, you can use. Thank you, J-Lord. I'm a lead character artist for games. The number one problem I see in reviewing portfolios are too many ZBrush sketches. The characters are too muddy. Oh, yeah. Nobody likes a lumpy model. If you guys want to learn how to not lumpy model, join my workshop. I still have spots in my workshop. I haven't been doing a lot of promo because I ran out of mentorship spots. And that tends to be the service that people most go for, but I do have workshop going. This month's workshop, I do the workshop every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central. I teach the foundations of 3D sculpting. We do a project from beginning to end, from the beginning of the month to the end of the month, all together. At the end, we render it, and we basically start from scratch. The topic of this month, May, is the anatomy of the human head external. So in the past, I've done the anatomy of the skull, the breakdown of the muscles of the head. Now we're going and doing the external. It's you can hop in at any time. All of the videos are recorded, and in fact, Notion page. Let me find my stuff here so I can show you. Here. So if you join the workshop, you get access to all my database, and you get access to all my past workshops, which there's a lot of. So for example, like whenever we did the skull, right, you can see all the videos. Each video is about an hour and a half, and you can kind of go back and do the lessons. You know, right now we're doing the head anatomy. There's only one video so far because it started last week and things like that. Every month has a different challenge, and plus this is where you can actually see all my articles that you guys were asking about earlier. So for those of you who are new and weren't here 5 seconds ago, basically I write articles on stuff. Oh, there's my alarm. Scared the crap out of me. For example, like I wrote this article on perfectionism that like helps a bunch of people, you know, so you can go. The Notion page is so cool. You are so impartial. But anyway, yeah, that's my spiel. So right now I only have the workshop. Pretty soon I'm gonna start making mini workshops. The first one being how to go viral on TikTok and Instagram with 3D art videos. You know, it's just a lot of people look down on that, but it's a great way to get in front of new clients and new opportunities. And right now, you know, posting pictures on Instagram, for example, is worthless. You can't really get anything out of that. But posting videos is what they want you to do, so they're rewarding it. Might as well learn how to go viral on that. I like that stuff too. So yeah, so you guys will know. You guys will stay tuned. So if you follow me on social media, you'll also, like, even if you decide not to join the workshop or anything like that, you know, you can still know when the new stuff comes out. Like if the mini workshop is something that interests you, then join just the mini workshop. You know, it's gonna be like between $15 and $30. Like it's not gonna be expensive. It's gonna be a one-time thing, whatever. Also, if you want to hang out with a ton of awesome 3D artists, join my Discord. The link is in chat. I have so many artists. We do challenges. We're queuing up to start doing weekly challenges again. And that goes for those of you who are already in the Discord. Join the Discord. Join the weekly challenges. We're going to have fun. We're also doing like stream challenges that are timed, things like that. Sometimes I give away free workshop access. Sometimes I give other things. So you'll be able to do that. And let's see what else. If you want to join the workshop, here's the link. Yeah, I'm so excited. So let's decide what we're going to work on during my second part of the stream, which is going to take place on my channel on Twitch and YouTube. So Anna Carolina Arts on Twitch and YouTube will get you to my second part of the stream. I've been doing double streams. You know, I've gotten really busy lately, and I've decided to start batching stuff in my life. So that's gonna be what we do. I think I'm going to be doing something slightly different on my channel. On my channel, I'm going to continue to make accessories. Specifically, let me turn off the poly paint for everything here. Specifically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing, I think, what do you call it? Like gauntlets, like woven gauntlets and woven anklets and things like that, especially because the ankles need it, because I'm going to rotate those feet back, and then we're going to hide that seam because it's going to be way too much work for me to actually reconstitute that area, so we're just going to skip over that. Let me take off my cube. The cube of modesty, apparently. Cube of censorship, really. So here's what the model looks like without poly paint. It actually looks better without poly paint. I mostly use the poly paints to like help me like tell the difference between the different groupings of things. But yeah, like we're going to be doing gauntlets, woven fabrics, things like that. So if you want to come hang out with me in even more candid plays, continue the conversation, and things like that together, please feel free. Alright, we're about to switch over to my other channel. Post on Instagram, you only get likes for the first couple days. What them feet doing? Them feet are doing some stuff. That's what they're doing. Quick question. Do you guys like the hair so far? Like, it's partially still block out, partially not, but like, do you like it? I'm thinking that the silhouette isn't strong enough. I think I need to like get this gap here of the curve and like spread it out, you know, so that there's more negative space. It's Gucci. Gucci hair. Gucci brand hair. I wanted to give her like spectral, like all constantly flowing in the wind wildly hair. Spirit vibes, yeah. Try flipping it, maybe you can get new perspective. Oh, it would be really hard to flip it. I could just take a screenshot and flip it in Photoshop, probably. That would be easy. That would be easy peasy, actually. Scared me again. So, okay. It is now 7 p.m. It's time for us to switch over to my other channel. Alright, I'm going to switch over. I'm going to post the link for you guys in chat real fast. So, YouTube and Twitch will have the stream going on. Only I can find everything right. I'm still working on straightening out this like technique of switching between the two. A little complicated. I'm hoping eventually I can just stream from 2 different OBSs at the same time. But anyway, alright everybody, I will see you on my channel. The party continues. On my channel, again, I'm going to be doing woven fabrics and gauntlets for her. So stop by if you're curious, or if you want to keep hanging out, or if you have any more questions, okay? The links for both the channels that I will be live on are right there in chat. So Anna Carolina Art on YouTube and Twitch.